coming at you from f.o.m.a once again. Having a good evening. Man, it's just been a rough time up here, and just hitting a lot of small stuff, and finally hit a nice massive crude oil. It got me ahead. It's going to take me forever to soak up. And speaking of crude oil, man, it's just running hot. Shaman Salvation just hit a nice 3,600. Petter, congrats to you. And not to be outdone though, by the Shadow Knight. 111,605 ped in crude oil. Wow. It's an awesome hit. I think it's good enough for about 14th all-time high, 13th. So, just an amazing hit. Congrats to you. Congratulations on being the only person in the history of Entropia to actually get a massive amount of money from markup from oil. You probably get about $100 for that. So, good on you. Since I'm mining up this thing here, I wanted to get a video out of the way that I'm meaning to do on gaming theory. As you all know, I do work in the casino business, and so I study the games a little bit, and I do like to gamble myself. I'm a bit of a gambler, but I'm not a plunger by any means. Obviously I see on a day-to-day basis just exactly how we're able to support our casino, and it ain't by people coming in and winning all day long. It's definitely off of people's losses, and with the casino, it's a negative expectation. Games are everywhere, and if you're going to attempt to beat those, then well, you're going to need some luck first of all, but you're also going to need some skills. You're going to need to take in with you. So I just want to go over some gaming type theories that'll be useful not only if you took a trip to Las Vegas or your local casino, but also here in Entropia Universe. And forgive me, I got to turn around. We're in Dome 6 here, and it has these annoying comparing youngs. I might, if they get too close, I'll have to. I can't even beat them. I'll have to do this long process where I drag them all the way to the teleporters where there's sentry guns. So forgive me while I keep an eye on these guys here. Look at him. Look at this guy. He's just walking right up. What are you doing there? Yeah. So, anyways, if I have to pause the video, I'll do that and finish it somewhere else. But at any rate, the first thing you're going to need is knowledge of whatever game you're playing. You need to know, first of all, if you're in a casino, you need to have a knowledge of what the pay tables should be if you're playing video poker or certain slot machines. You want to play games that have the best odds possible. A lot of people will be playing on machines, particularly in video poker. When 5 or 6 machines over, there'll be a better pay table. So you want to familiarize yourselves with that, which will kind of lead in where to play. You want to go to the places that have the best odds, that offer the best payouts, the best casinos for that. And same thing in Entropia Universe. If you're mining, you want to hunt in the places that have the best markup. Right now, the best markup is Planet Arcadia, which begs the question: well, why am I here in f.o.m.a? Well, Planet Arcadia, admittedly, it has I won't say a struggling market, but a smaller market, and it just doesn't have the crafters right now to sustain huge purchases of ore and ingots. So it makes doing business there really tough when you can't turn over whatever it is you're mining right away. When you're on f.o.m.a here, you can just transfer this stuff right down to Calypso, and it'll usually sell in a day or two. So at any rate, knowledge is particularly important. Knowledge of where to buy your best equipment. If you're in Entropia, take a look around at some of the shops. The auction house is not always the best place to buy items. There's a couple malls on Calypso. There's shops everywhere in Arcadia on the apartment buildings. Take a look around and do yourself a favor. Find the best markup on items. If you're buying, obviously you want the lowest markup, the lowest price on everything. And another item I want to touch on for knowledge is just building up a knowledge base of where to mine. You'll want to. I use Little Big Mining Log, as many of you all know, and what that'll do is generate a map of where mining claims are. And what I end up doing now is basically only mining spots that have really high markup items, particularly hydrogen. Cool sap really sell well. You can always get above 140% for those items. They'll consistently be some of your top items. For fun, I'm going to back up and I'll just show you something here real quick as we finish up knowledge here. Speaking of knowledge, if you're getting too close to some mobs and you don't like it, then what you can do is walk away from your mining claim here and summon it to a different location. This is particularly helpful if you're getting too close to mobs, or if you're on a cliffside or something like that where your claim is just not reachable. So we'll go ahead and summon that. You got to stand still for 30 seconds. Wrapping up knowledge, get yourself a mentor if you're going to play this game. The mentoring system's great. There's rewards for it. You get a nice set of armor. I'm wearing it right now. It's just a pixie set of armor here. And your mentor gets a reward once you complete and graduate as well. And there's plenty of great mentors in the game that are willing to help you out, to take you on. And it's not just, they will actually take you hunting, take you mining, and give you some great knowledge in the game. So just lots of helpful people in this game, folks. You should definitely give it a try if you're worried about, the learning curve or anything like that. Anyways, the second point I want to get into is Bankroll. Bankroll is the second thing you need if you're going to step into a casino or in Entropia Universe. Now, we've discussed, obviously in Entropia you can play the game for free and just sweat and do some limited things. You can play with a limited bankroll and be able to do a few more things, but you won't be able to take full advantage of the best way to do things, the most economical way to do things, particularly the auction house. On the auction house, again, every auction starts out at a 0.5 ped price, no matter what you're selling, and then they add on a percentage from there. So it makes selling smaller size items particularly difficult. You really need to build up your stack size. So you'll want to start with the most ped you can buy. Now, everybody has their own budgets. You got to do what you got to do, all right? Times are tough in the United States and other countries, so I get it. You can do what you can do, but if you got spare income, like I said, the money does not go away. It will still be there in a sense, in the form of skills and things like that. And I better get a new rock ripper out. This oil is just taking forever. I almost don't want to mine for it in this dome, but I was running so bad, and this will get into another topic that we're going to discuss tonight, lack of discipline. That'll be topic 4. I'm just going to equip this sucker right here. Sorry, I can almost talk and do 2 things at once, but not really. But bankroll in a casino is obvious, particularly with slot machines. The higher bankroll you have, the better slot machines you can play, and the higher slot machine denomination that you play, the better return it will give you. For instance, a dollar slot in Vegas is an average return of about 92 to 95%. Some are less. Depends on where you go. The $5 slots and above are usually excellent returns, 97%. Your nickel slots and your penny slots will be quite low, which will be the 70% range. And that's why casinos lately have gone with these. If you've ever walked through a casino, you see these little video slots. Well, they're penny slots. Now, you can, by definition, they're penny slots because the denomination is 1 cent. But they're anything but cheap. You can bet up to 300 or 400, 500 pennies at a time, and therefore you're betting $3, $4, $5 at a time. But the casino will be allowed to still only give you a return of 70%. Now, why is this? Most gaming laws determine by the denomination of the slot what the minimum percentages can be. So that's kind of the start of where that's coming from. The second thing is variance. Variance is a big word. Well, it's not a big word, but it's a word I use a lot. The way these penny slots work, even though you're betting 300 pennies at a time, a lot of times you'll get back 150 pennies or 100 pennies or 200, or you'll have little wins, $4, $4.50. So it allows for a greater amount of variance, and the only way to beat a system that has a 30% vigorish or a 70% return rate is to have a lot of pulls at it, a lot of whacks at it. All right, and the way you can do that is just with the way the pay tables are set up on these slots and the bonus screens, they give you a lot of little bit of payouts. All right, a lot of little bitty payouts. So a lot of people end up being successful on occasion on these slots, but they're definitely a loser in the long run. So bankroll, what is needed? What is your goal? But take this scenario. Let's say I give you $100. I told you to go to a casino, and I told you your goal was to make $100. All right, $100 profit, and I did this for 100 people. How many do you think would be successful? If all of them were a little bit smart, they would probably just take that 100, plunk it right down on the pass line or something like that in a crap game, and just let it ride right there where the house edge is not particularly high. But most of them would probably try to space that out a little bit, and with the high minimum bets on most games, they just wouldn't be successful. So yeah, I would venture to guess only 10-15% could actually be successful at that. We'll just take the same scenario. Let's say I gave 100 people $10,000, and I told them, hey, your goal is to win $100. Now how many of them are going to be successful? Indeed, quite a bit more. In fact, at any time in a casino, up to 70% of all the players, 78%, are ahead at one time. Okay, but they don't take it home, right? Because you're there at a casino, and you got a plastic football full of pina colada, and you're feeling really good, and there's good-looking women, so you don't want to leave right away, and that's all right. Gaming can be a form of it's a form of entertainment, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, if I gave you $10,000, told you you're going to make 100, well, you could probably sit down at a $100 blackjack table and just try to, with a little bit of money management, you could, if you win the first hand after betting 100, you're there. You just quit. So why don't people do this more often? Well, even with a small goal like that, reasonably attainable goal, it's not achievable every day. You're just going to run into bad streaks. And secondly, not everybody has 10 dimes in their pocket. That's a very large bankroll. And the casinos know that, and that's why they have minimum bets. Particularly, that's why they raise them on weekends, too. If you're trying to look for a $5 blackjack table on the weekend in Vegas, you're not going to find that. It's they all get pumped up to 15, 20 bucks. At a price, it's a price where a lot of people will still play because they want to gamble. They're there for the weekend, they want to gamble, but they don't have the proper bankroll for it. And that means they cannot absorb the variance. So, same thing with Entropia Universe. You want to have enough money to absorb the variance of whatever you're doing. If you buy in for 500 PED, and you want to start mining and buy, mining amps and VTOL and then probes, you're just going to run out of money because you're going to run out of luck. You always run out of luck in whatever gaming system you're going to partake in. Anything with a random number generator, you're going to have streaks, and you're going to have bad times. You need to be able to absorb the bad times long enough to hit the good times. The beauty about this game is if you can just continually break even, and do that month after month after month, even if you're just break even, you'll still that's just a bunch of shots at this huge off here. Every time you plant that mining probe in the ground or craft an item, it's a shot at a big jackpot. So the idea is you really want to protect your pad roll or bankroll. And give yourselves as many opportunities as you can to win something nice. So you want to do that in a casino and in Entropia Universe. Moving along, folks, I don't want this video to be too long. Money management is the third thing you're going to need if you're going into a casino or going to play EU. Money management systems. I'm big on minimizing losses. That's why I start out mining unamped. And I still do. I got plenty of money I make amps. I'm making a level 5 amp. But, you know, earlier today I had a run. I was mining ores only in Dome 7. It was 46. No resources found. 46 in a row. What a puker. I mean, it was heartbreaking. After a while, I was like, I can't believe this streak. Now, those streaks are rare, but they do happen. They happen quite often, particularly if you're mining in a place like f.o.m.a. And if you don't have the PED card to absorb that, you're going to end up running out of cash, and you won't be able to play at that point. So, money management partly involves playing within your means. It means minimizing losses. You want to lower your variance as much as possible. I'll give you a little example here. Let's say you're playing blackjack. Everybody's pretty much familiar with this game, right? It's also called 21. To play optimally, everybody knows, or at least has heard of, that there's this basic strategy, quote unquote, and depending on the total and type of your cards and the dealer's up card, well, then there's an optimal strategy that determines how you should be playing. You know, computers have chewed on these numbers and have spit them out. There's also house rules that will affect these percentages, and also the players have the ability to count cards on occasion, and they can adjust those basic strategy charts to kind of alter the decision, the proper decision they should make. That's what a lot of pit bosses will look for, to see if you're counting cards, if you're making unusual decisions, but you're kind of right all the time. They'll kind of look for that. But anyways, I don't want to get into that too much. But I do want to give you, you know, let's say you do go to Vegas for the weekend and you went to the gift shop and got one of those little blackjack strategy cards. And they'll even let you bring them up to the table. You know, that's no problem. And you want to play a little blackjack, and you know, you got $300 to spend on gambling for the weekend, and you finally found a $5 table you're happy with. So you bet $5 a hand, and all of a sudden you get 8 and 8, and the dealer is showing an ace. Well, a lot of people have heard there's an adage in blackjack called "always split aces and eights." Always, 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 and that's according to certain rule sets and certain general house rules. That's typically the accepted and proper strategy. All right, mathematically, you'll be better off in the long run splitting eights versus an ace. And forgive me if I'm assuming a little bit of gaming knowledge. I don't want to go into the whole rules of blackjack, but moreover, I want you guys to basically get the gist or the point of the money management principle I'm trying to teach you. Okay. Now, when splitting aces, or splitting eights versus an ace, you're going to end up losing 48% of the time. Now, to split eights, the bummer thing about it is you have to put out an extra $5. And, you know, you're in Vegas, you're on a budget, you've only brought $300 with you. And here's the scenario you're really faced with, all right? The percentages, the return for splitting eights versus an ace, if you split them, you're going to lose 48% of the time. But if you do what's called a surrender, anytime in blackjack, in casinos that allow it, you can just surrender half your bet if you're in a spot that you don't like. And this is a very good tactic to use for certain hopeless hands. In the case of surrendering, you would lose 50% of the time. All right. In this situation, you get the eights versus the ace. So if you're only going to lose 48% of the time, it makes sense. Well, you better put out the extra money and split those eights to get the extra percentage. But is it really worth putting out the extra money just to get that teeny little percentage? I say it's not. If you're just a weekend player, first of all, you could probably go all weekend without even seeing 8-8 versus an ace. But when you're facing a dealer's ace, the dealer's only going to bust 11% of the time. So why would you want to put out extra money when you're in a position where the dealer is a huge threat? And by the dealer, I mean the house. I'm a dealer by trade, so a lot of people yell at the dealers, and I'm like, no, it's just the house. Anyways, whole other story. But so the point is this, folks. If you're in Vegas, there's no need to go beyond your bankroll just to take advantage of small extra percentages. Now, if you're a larger gamer and you've got the bankroll for it, absolutely, every time you should split 8-8 versus ace, okay? But when you're just a weekender, just gaming occasionally, I think it's better to keep your $5, get the $250 back, and just preserve your bankroll so you can play a little bit more. That's half the point of going to Vegas on a small bankroll. You just want to play a little bit. So that's going to preserve your bankroll. So that's what I call it. That's called lowering your variance. Okay. I really want to get into guarantees and excess. A lot of times, let's say you're sitting down with $300, which I recommend breaking into like $100 sessions if you can. Boy, I don't know how much I want to get into this. Okay, first thing you want to do, if you go to, let's say you're going to Vegas, you got $300, and you want to play some blackjack. So what I recommend doing is break that into 3 $100 sessions. All right, I don't want you sitting down at one table and losing the whole thing. So what you'll do at table 1 is take your $100. If you get down to $50, I want you to get up and leave. All right. If you start winning, all right, I want you to set yourself a guarantee amount. Now, what do you expect to reasonably win with $100? It's tough to double that up. I think a reasonable goal for that is 20 to $30. What I'd like to see you do, if you get up to 20 or 30 or $40, I want you to take your original 100 back, pocket it. Don't just mentally do this. Don't take it off the table. Take another $20. That's your guarantee. And then play a few more hands with the other excess at $20. You never want to stop during a winning streak, okay? But the whole point of gaming is to get small wins, right? The guy that had $10,000 and went to go win 100, that's a reasonable goal, all right? And a reasonable goal with $100 is probably $10, but go ahead and try for 20 or 30, all right? Break it down. Once your excess is gone, get up and leave the table. Now you're up a $20 winner, all right? You just paid for dinner. If you keep going, and let's say you're up $50 now, rat hole another half of that excess, keep playing with the other half. So you never want to take yourself out of a game if you're winning, but you want to kind of sock away some wins. So I hope you hung in there for that whole diatribe there, but how do you do this in Entropia Universe? Well, to minimize losses, you want to amp rarely, or amp well within your means. I have a pretty significant ped card, and I still don't start out amped because I just don't want to go whole long streaks puking money away. And again, forgive me, I do these videos for beginners, but sometimes I'm assumed that you've already watched my earlier videos or assume that you know something about the game. When you're mining in this game, you can just mine just dropping probes, or you can attach these things called amplifiers that will amplify the amount of your finds. Okay. At any rate, the point of this is money management right now. So never use all your ped. If you're going to go out and mine some, you got 300 ped, take 100 ped, go mining. If it's just a bad run and you get down to 50 ped, get up, go somewhere else, and you can just keep track of the claims you have. Keep moving. Never stay anywhere for too long if it's running bad. If you are starting to get ahead, don't give it back. There's nothing wrong with mining for 30 minutes. And if you get way ahead and it starts to turn bad, go ahead and quit at that point. All right. That's a good time to turn things off And every day in this game, you want to try to finish with more PED, more value than you did the day before, a little bit at a time. All right, that's the key to building up a PED card, especially if you're not starting out with a lot. And the fourth thing that I alluded to earlier that you're going to need either in a casino or in Entropia Universe is discipline. All right. Discipline's especially tough in a casino because, you know what, there's hot-looking cocktail waitresses, there is alcohol, and it's real easy to get distracted, all right? There's no clocks in a casino, if you've ever noticed. You're just not going to find one because people, the house doesn't want you to get distracted by what time it is. They want you to keep playing, you know? So discipline's hugely important. If you're going to start with a system, you got to stick to it. You can't just get angry when something's not working and then start over betting your bankroll or playing badly. It happens to the best of us, you know. Don't feel bad if it happens, but if you realize that you're losing your discipline, that you're getting off the money management system that you want to use, you need to stop playing at that point and just call it quits. Okay. If you're in a casino, go to the bar, have a drink, go for a walk, take a cab somewhere, but don't stick around if you're angry or, especially if you're too hammered. That's not the time to be gambling. You know, it seems like fun, but you're really setting yourself up for some losses. So same thing here in Entropia Universe. I know I had a drunken mining session the other night and did really well, but I was still, you know, playing intelligently. I think. But you know, if I set out for the day saying I'm going to start out unamped, I'm only going to amp as soon as I start getting into 2 claims and such a percentage, and you got to have the discipline to stick with that. And if things aren't going well, you need the discipline to just pick up and move or call it quits for the day. All right. So those are the 4 biggies. Some other things that'll creep into gaming, whether you're at the casino or Entropia Universe, are theory. Particularly if you're a sports bettor, if you like to bet the horses or football teams, then a lot of theories will come into mind, you know. And some of them are quite true mathematically, particularly with sports betting. A lot of people say if you're betting horses, you know, look for a larger horse on days where it's muddy. Things like that. These are theories that may or may not be true, may or may not hold up mathematically over time. But it's, you know, it's something you kind of want to know. In Entropia Universe, the downside here is we don't have any loot tables to go by. We don't have pay tables. All right. I can't tell you that a full house should be 9 to 1. You know, I can tell you that for video poker, but for jacks or better video poker, but I can't tell you what you should be looking for precisely as far as a pay table. But I can tell you how to last long enough to make yourself open for large hits. And there's some other theorycraft type items in Entropia, whether you know, if you had certain skills where you're mining, those are areas you might want to mine more often. And you know, these things may or may not be true, but they're certainly kind of a part of the game. All right. The last thing I would touch on is simply trends. You know, I'll put this question out to you. All right. Let's say you're at the roulette table, and you know, you're sitting there sipping on some orange drink. You have no idea what it is, but it tastes good and it has alcohol in it, so you don't care. And you decided that you're not going to leave until you own the entire left wing of the casino. That's fine. So you're sitting there and you notice the roulette table. You're betting the colors, all right, red and black. And the last 3 numbers you notice were red. So to kind of answer this to yourself, if the last 3 numbers were red on a roulette table, what would you bet next? Would you bet red or black if you had the choice? Now, a lot of people are like, well, red's already hit 3 times. You know, black is due. It's just due. I'm going to bet black, obviously. And there's some logic to that. I get it. Certainly, look, you know, numbers are random on a roulette table, and that roulette wheel has no memory. Okay, so whatever the past three numbers were has no real mathematical impact on what the next number is going to be. So it's either going to be red or black or green, and everybody is unhappy at that point. So I would personally bet red in that situation, and the reason is this: I like to follow the trend in numbers. All right, and in random number systems, there will always be trends. The roulette wheel will never go red, black, red, black, red, black, and then every 35 numbers hit a green 0. And oh, by the way, for those of you that didn't know, Vegas was in fact built on the half point, one number keno, and the 00. So I would avoid that 00 roulette, but that's all they have there. So anyway, that's me. Yeah, I bet red. Okay, so that's why when I'm starting out mining in Entropia Universe, I start out unamped until I find the trend that I'm looking for, and then I want to get on that trend, and I'll throw in amps at that point and start hitting that area, particularly if it's, you know, if I get 2 or 3 more claims. Until then, my opinion is the trend is that it's not hitting, and therefore why amplify that? So that's something I would look for in a casino too. If the trend is red, I'm gonna ride that trend, okay? And I'm gonna increase bets until the trend ends, and then I'm gonna go back down to the minimum. Now sometimes the actual pattern or the trend will be red, black, red, black, red, black. So if you're betting a trend system where you're just following the color, that's going to be a loser. You could easily sit down at a roulette table and say, all right, I'm going to bet red, black, just, you know, opposite every time. That's fine, but whatever system you use, don't forget discipline. Stick with it. If you don't like your system anymore, get up and leave the table. Leave your mining area. Look for something else, all right? So you got to look for trends in this game. A lot of people follow the Hoff boards. You know, crude oil's running, all right? I hit a crude oil. Someone hit a crude oil earlier. Crude oil used to be up top here. Looks like it's past 24 hours, but crude oil was hit not a day ago here by the Shadow Knight. So now, that doesn't mean you want to start just looking for crude oil, because crude oil has obviously a lousy markup, but if you notice that Narconism or something good is running like that, something with a high markup, then you probably want to go, you know, search for those domes or those areas that feature Narconism. Okay, follow that trend. So there's a little side note. Some people say, look, if somebody just hit an all-time high, you know, that Narconism is used up. It's gone. Go find something else. And there's some truth to that. You know, when f.o.m.a hits an all-time high, sometimes. A lot of times it just dies after that, and it's nothing intentional. It's just a random number system, I'm sure. I don't think Mindark has their hand in on the random number generator, you know, waiting for enough PED to go in the ground, and then they'll give out an all-time high. It just doesn't work that way, and there's so many hits, so many people mining that you can leave the wins and losses up to a random number generator if you're Mindark, because they're getting so many people to play. All right. Same thing with a casino, all right? You know, if some guy wins 500 grand on blackjack, you know, that's a drop in the bucket for these guys, all right? They will absorb that. And, you know, for every idiot out there that wins 500 grand, there's another guy losing $1 million, all right? So, at any rate, folks, that's just some gaming theories. If you want to ask me some more questions on that, please leave them in the video. Ask me in game, but definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Leave some comments. If I said some things that are unclear, or if I said some things that I should have explained better, I particularly want to hear about that. Again, I want you to kind of absorb, I guess, the theories that I'm putting out, and not the actual, you know, individual strategies. You know, I just want you to get the general concept. All right. So, general concept, minimize losses, buy in for as much PED as you can. The more PED you have, the better advantage you can take of systems in this game. Stay disciplined, don't get angry, stay within your means, and ask around, ask your fellow players for advice and knowledge. Get a mentor as soon as you get into the game. If you haven't done that already and you've been playing for a year, by all means get one. Get yourself a free set of armor, if nothing else. Alright. That's it for me from f.o.m.a here. Let's see how much of this I got mined up. Alright, only another 700 bit to go. Should I just extend the video by another 2 hours while I mine this up? What do you think? No? Alright. I guess not. Y'all take care. I promised, I think, some hell footage, and it's almost May 1st. It's May 1st on my clock, so Planet Cyrene should be in the game tomorrow. But we'll see. The Minerk is real hush-hush about when they're going to release stuff and what content it'll have. They know how that type of information will affect the economy. So. Again, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Catch me in game if you want. I'll say hello to you, help you out as best I can. Alright? Bye-bye.